What up, guys? Welcome back. Another Theory Thursday. Today we are doing Pink Floyd. So check it out. A couple new things. Kevin dropped off this guitar for me today, and I thought it would be great to use a Strat on some Pink Floyd. Why not? So this is the Sultan by Iconic Guitars. Go check it out. IconicCustomGuitars.com. So back to the song and another Brick in the Wall Part 2. I thought it'd be great, and I was thinking about it. There's a couple different ways we can do this today. I'm going to mix in some theory with the overall guitar lesson, because I did throw out a question out this morning about what do you like better, songs or theory, and it was unanimous. So here's the thing, I put some thought into it and I came up with this song, etc. So check it out. Here's what's important about today's song. You know, it starts on a D minor, so it's a triple hammer-on, your ring finger 7th fret, pinky 7th fret, and middle 6th fret. And you know, essentially the first strike is a bar chord on everybody on its 5th fret. Check it out, zoom in. Everybody's on its 5th, and then you keep this, it's actually a pretty gnarly kung fu position when everybody's hammering together. So you have this, and it's a down up. And you go down up, down up, down up, down up, down up. Take off some of that effect so it sounds a little drier. I like using some tape reproduction, tape echo chorus. You know, it's the deco, so you have a lot of wide varieties going from flange chorus all the way to tape delay. So I have it set at like, you know, 35, 40 milliseconds, and it just makes it sound cooler while you're listening to me play. Has a nice stretched out image. So anyhow, so there's the chord with the technique, and then there's also octaves, and that means you have your 5th fret, this is a D, and then for if you skip the D string and put your ring over the 7th fret G string, that is D as well. So you have a D here, and then you have a D here. And if you hit them at the same time, if you hit all 3 strings, you will hear an octave, a lower D and a higher D at the same time. You're probably wondering why we can't hear the D string. That's because the curve, if you just maybe zoom in right there, my ring finger is literally just laying on that string, so it's muting it. So that gives you the opportunity to, I'm hitting all 3 strings, but you only hear 2. For that matter, check this trick out. You only will hear 1 note. That's, if you look at my hand, I'm muting, and then my ring finger is gonna grab that 7th fret D, just this note. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rake all 6 strings. You're only gonna hear that 1 note. You know, once in a while you're hearing that, but look. Anyhow, it's something to practice. It's a cool thing. So, you know, D minor, and there are some other chords. You know, when you're playing right here, doing those hammer-ons. And that is octave on D, E, and F. And once again, that is your 5th fret with an octave, your 7th fret with an octave, and our 8th. And there is a little bit of pivoting going on with your thumb. Back to the bar, and you hammer. So that's that main riff. It's very funky and very cool. And some of us out there that are just learning bar chords, we know how difficult it is. Even some of us that have been playing for years, like myself, bar chords are difficult depending on the piece of music and the tempo. So this is one of those songs that's definitely going to get you better. I like playing it and I feel better already. Some of us out there know how to play a lot of different chords, and a lot of us are acquainted with the open chords. So that is a D minor, and I learned the way to play it, and I want to show it to you guys. So it's a little difficult. What you do is you take your index finger and you bar it, the B string and the high E. It's a double stop. And the next move is you're gonna hammer on with your middle finger on the 2nd fret G string, and then hammer on, it's a double hammer on with your ring finger on this 3rd fret B. So when you strike the chord, just like that, start on the open D string and you strike all 4 strings down. So that's how that will be played. And the way you stop it really fast is that I try to be really polite with the way it looks, but it's just lifting your hand gently up and down on the back of your guitar where the bridge is. So, because if you didn't do that, it would sound like this. And that's cool, but probably a different song. So try to watch my right hand now, my picking hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you get that? I hope so. Anyways, I keep getting hung up on the guitar here. So that's the main riff. 2 different ways to play it. If you know your bar chords really well, learn it like this. If you are just, let's say, only being acquainted with your open chords and you're trying to get more material to practice bar chords, double benefit because you're learning bar chords plus hammering on. So certainly put some time into it. It takes, be patient. These are really, really cool moves, and it requires posture. I want to talk about that a little bit. My thumb is really behind the neck, and it allows you to push your hand forward, because if you look at the way my index finger, you want to maintain a very straight finger. Just when you're doing really specific funky slices like this. I mean, when you get it down, you can relax your posture and your ring starts to cave in, or your index finger starts to cave in a little bit, and that's totally fine. But I like to get you guys to aim high with posture, because a lot of the time I have a straight bar chord like this, and then you have 3 fingers curving, so that is a very interesting looking kung fu. Hi. So let's continue the rest of the song. There's just 2 more parts. So here's the change. It's really cool. It's just a big G chord, and just strum it down, up, down. Back to D minor, and then your ring finger goes all the way up to the 10th fret, and you get to play this. Just like that, guys. So it's the 10th fret, 8th fret, B string and E string double stops, and then you do an A major chord right here. That's your 8th fret B and your 7th fret E. Then you move it down to the G, whole step, hit it once, and then prime yourself for a big F bar chord. Into C, and this is really cool because you leave this ring hanging. Watch how the rest of my other fingers compute. Just like that. Into your D minor. So let's talk about the theory of this song. Some of us might think we're in the key of D minor. And we're not. It's okay though. We're in the key of C. And the C chord does show up once, but let me explain. Here's a picture of the key that you're in. So take a look. Now that right there is the key of C. So you can associate that with a C major chord, and of course the C major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And at that point, when that is memorized, there's 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you look at the nomenclature or the symbols, we have major, minor, minor, major. So those are the first 4 symbols. We got the key of C. C major, D minor, E minor, and F. Now all of these chords can play right here in the open positions. Here's C. Here's D minor, our 2 chord. Here's E minor, the 3 chord. F is the 4 chord. G is our G7, Mr. 5 chord. And A minor is the 6, and B half diminished. That's our leading tone. It's going to push us home. So number 1 is known as the tonic. The 2 chord is known as the supertonic. The 3 chord is the median. The 4 chord, subdominant. All right? The 5 chord, G7, that is dominant. The 6 chord, it is minor, that is known as the submedian. Our 7 chord, B half diminished, that is the leading tone. And the leading tone pushes us home. That is the key of C. And what is going on with this song is that it starts on the 2 chord. It is the supertonic. Okay, so since it is in the key of C, and you think about the chords, eventually when you're learning songs, you'll look for hints. You'll look for relationships. In this case, there was a relationship on G. So if we were on a D minor, and a G showed up, I would instantly know right there that most likely we're in the key of C, only because of experience and then the fact that that's a relationship change, because typically in a minor key, another minor chord would show up as a change, typically. So right there, I'm suspicious, okay? And then the next thing that closes the deal is that I noticed that there was another major chord right next to it, and that's F. So with experience or memorizing your major chord progression, you'll notice that there is a G and an F. Now, typically, it's G7, but one of the most natural defaults in songwriting history is that if you don't want to hear dominance, okay, which is this kind of chord, honky tonk, it feels good. It also has a reputation for pushing home. You can hear the relationship there. And that's just something that you learn, that we have been taught, in school, when Fred Benedetti described that to us eloquently, back in 1994. And one of the safest things that a songwriter can do is change that to a G. And then you use the F. So the point is, guys, at that rate, you have 2 major chords right next to each other. You can think of them as 2 big M's, and that would always be a 4 and a 5 chord. That is the main bite for today, because at that point, that tells you what key you're in. And if you're in the key of C, you know that D minor is your 2 chord. I realize it seems a lot to remember here, but it's just semantics and it's chord placement. It's also whether you notice relationships physically or, more important, sonically. So when you think about it, when you're playing the song, it goes a G, for about 8 bars, and then it goes back to the D minor. And then you got that funk part, the breakdown. Right here. That is a 4 chord. It's just saying, hey, what's up? 4. 1, 2. And it just happens to be beautiful music. And another musician would say, hey, this is in the key of C. It's a 2, 5, 4, 1 progression. So that means you have D minor, the 2, G is the 5, F is your 4 chord, and C. And then again, since the 2 is